Have you felt something a little bit different in the air, especially in the morning and at night lately? I have definitely felt it's a little bit cooler, and I know that a new season is on the way. We are getting ready to welcome fall. So let's make some carrot apple muffins to celebrate fall together. Now this recipe has a few more ingredients than we're used to, so I have them all written down for you, and you can refer back to this later. I'll even hold up the recipe again at the end of this video, okay? So here's our recipe. I actually had to use 2 chalkboards because we do have more ingredients than usual, but I couldn't help it. These muffins are so delicious. I really wanted to teach you all how to make them. So what we need is, we're gonna make flax eggs. Instead of using eggs from chickens, we're gonna make eggs from a flax seed. So if you haven't done that yet, it's super easy. I'm gonna show you how. We also need olive oil, banana, maple syrup, one of my favorite sweeteners, as you know, apple and carrots that are grated, coconut sugar, another one of my favorite sweeteners, a little bit of salt, baking soda, and let me get my other half of the recipe, cinnamon, of course, because muffins and apples and carrots and fall really want cinnamon to just spice it up. We also need oat milk or any other kind of plant-based milk that you have in your cupboard, grated carrots, I think I said that, rolled oats, almond meal, and flour. Now, I love gluten-free, so I'm using a gluten-free flour blend, but you can use any flour that you love. All right, so let's get started on this recipe to celebrate fall together. The first thing we're gonna get is our flax eggs. So I have already put ground flaxseed and water in this jar, and I've been letting it soak so that it turns into this nice gooey consistency, and it's going to help bind our muffins. So I have my flax eggs, and I'm putting those right in my bowl. Excellent. Get all my flax eggs in there. Now flax seeds are also really good for our brain. They have the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, so good for us too. Next, I'm going to get a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And what is olive oil good for? Our heart and our skin. Thank you, olive oil, for helping our hearts and our skin to be glowing and healthy. So 1/4 cup olive oil right in my bowl. And the next thing I'm going to put in my bowl to help with the sweetness is just a little bit of mashed banana. So I already mashed up my banana, and it's just 1 banana mashed up. That should be a really nice ripe banana, nice and sweet. It can even be a little bit brown on the outside. That means it's extra sweet. So I'm putting my banana in my bowl with my flax eggs and my olive oil. And the next thing I'm going to put in my bowl is my favorite sweetener, maple syrup. Let's put a 1/4 cup maple syrup into our bowl. So we have a lot of different sweet flavors, and all together they're going to be a substitute for what we would usually use just plain sugar for, right? We like to use healthier sweetener alternatives. So we've got our maple syrup in there, and the next thing I'm going to add is a 1/2 cup of grated apple, and I really packed this 1/2 cup with the grated apple. I already took my apples and I grated them using a cheese grater very carefully, because you can't hurt yourself. So you might want mom and dad's help, but I have my 1/2 cup of grated apple right in there. Excellent. And the next thing I'm going to add is coconut sugar. So 1 more sweetener to make my muffins just super delicious without having to add regular white sugar. I love the flavor of coconut sugar. It tastes a lot like brown sugar, and it looks like brown sugar too. So in goes my coconut sugar. Now my muffins are starting to look really delicious, and we just need a few more things. We are going to need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now I love this Himalayan pink sea salt because it has extra minerals and nutrients in it. Any salt will do, but we like to make sure that every ingredient that we're using is actually really good for us and delicious. So here goes my Himalayan pink sea salt, 1/2 teaspoon right in my bowl. And the next thing I'm going to add is 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda in my bowl. And you'll notice I'm just using one bowl to make these muffins. So even though there are more ingredients than we're used to using, they're pretty simple because we just have to use one bowl and mix everything together really well. So there's the 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda out of the way now. And I'm just going to give this a little stir because you can see what my batter looks like right now. So I want to about halfway through stir it up so that I don't get a big clump of salt or baking soda when I bite into a muffin. So every so often, you can also use a whisk for this part if you have a whisk. But you want to really blend up your muffin batter. Okay, so now it's starting to look more like batter, but we still have a few more ingredients to add. We're going to add our cinnamon. There's nothing that makes me think of fall like smelling the smell of cinnamon. Always take time when you're baking or cooking to stop and smell the delicious flavors that you're putting in your dish. And this is a good time to add your secret ingredient. Who's gonna add love as their secret ingredient today? Is anybody gonna add love? What about peace? I think I'm gonna add peace as my secret ingredient today. So you think about what secret ingredient you wanna have. You can use one of mine or you can make up your own, but it's always really extra awesome to add your own secret positive intention ingredient. So, like I said, let me check. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, that's what it was. Let me get my 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, and I'm still just enjoying the smell. While I add it to my muffins. Okay, really smelling like fall now. And next I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of my oat milk. I like to shake it up a little bit before I add it. Did you know that you can make milk from oats? It's actually really wonderful because oats have a fair amount of sugar just naturally in them, so it's a nice sweet milk. It's great for baking with. And did I say 1/2 cup? Let me double check that. Yes, it is 1/2 cup of oat milk. Alrighty, so in that goes. Excellent. And the next thing I'm going to add is 1/2 cup of almond meal. So this is really just ground up almonds, and it's going to give our muffins a little bit more of a wholesome texture. And of course, almonds are going to add protein to our muffins. Always great to get some protein in your baked goodies. That means you can have it for breakfast if you want, right? So here goes my almond meal right in my batter. And the next thing I'm going to add as I stir this up a little bit is my carrots, one of the main ingredients in my carrot apple muffins. So I already grated my carrots and I shared some with my pet bunny Murphy. He loves to eat the tops of my carrots. So I already shared the tops of my carrots with my pet bunny Murphy, and I grated up all my carrots and I really packed this cup full of grated delicious carrots. What's in carrots? Does everybody remember? Vitamin what? Vitamin A and vitamin C, and of course lots of fiber. So much goodness we're putting in our muffins today. I'm going to put all my carrots in. Excellent. And the next thing I'm going to add is my oats. So I need 2/3 cup of rolled oats. And I'm going to put those in now. 1/2 cup. There's my 1/3 cup. Back of everything. So there's my oats. I'm going to add 2 of those 1/3 cups to make 2/3 cup of rolled oats. Get those stirred in there. I'll show you what my batter is starting to look like, getting nice and thick. Really good muffin batter. And it sure does smell like fall now, and I haven't even put these in the oven yet. So the next thing I'm going to add is my flour. I like to bake gluten-free, so what I have here is Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking flour. This works really, really great in this recipe. If you just have regular white flour around, or whole wheat flour, or spelt flour, any of those flours will work. This one really works well, so I've been really happy with this recipe so far. I made some of these muffins last night and they're almost all gone. So we need more in our house. Okay, so I have that 1 cup of flour, and I'm going to pour that into my muffin batter. I think we got all those ingredients in here, and I'm just going to stir up my muffins. It's looking great. Can't wait to put these muffins in the oven. Watch them rise and smell the cinnamon and the oats and the carrots and the apple. Now, some of you might have made raisins with me in the very beginning, and I always like to keep my jar of my homemade raisins in my cupboard. So I'm going to add homemade raisins. You do not have to. You could also add walnuts if you wanted, but the raisins make it extra good. So I'm going to get my raisins. So I have my jar of homemade raisins here, so tasty, and those are going right in my muffins. Get all those delicious raisins out. It looks like I'm going to have to make more homemade raisins this week. I love having my homemade raisins in my cupboard. Now, please make sure that you have preheated your oven to 375 degrees. So I'm going to make sure I get that going now. Okay, my oven is preheated. I have everything I need in this bowl of muffin batter. Do you see that? And the next thing I'm going to do is get my muffin pan that I already put these little paper natural liners in. And I have a nice scooper, and I know that it takes about 2 scoops. I have 12 muffin pans here. This recipe makes 12 muffins exactly. So you're just going to want to evenly put your muffin batter in all 12 cups. And once you've done that, put your muffins in the oven for 30 to 36 minutes. Make sure they're cooked all the way through, but that they have not burned. We don't want to overcook them, so they'll get dried out and a little burned. But 36 minutes was just about perfect for mine. And once they're done, just take them out and let them cool. You can have them as they are. You could put a little apple butter on top, a little regular butter, or even almond butter on top, and they make the most awesome breakfast, snack, or even dessert. So let me show you what they look like once they're out of the oven. I have my homemade apple carrot muffins just in time to celebrate the very beginning of fall. Thank you for cooking with me today. I hope you really enjoy this recipe, and I'll see you all tomorrow.